Broadcasting from the Cass Corridor in Detroit, this is The Metro. I'm Robin Vincent.
And I'm Tia Graham. Today on the program, amid our rapidly changing society, what does it mean to be revolutionary now?
Also, some residents are concerned about Detroit's Solar Neighborhood Initiative. They're alleging that the city is using blight tickets to take property for solar development.
And today is Cinco de Mayo, a holiday that commemorates the resistance and resilience of Mexican people against colonial powers.
But first, on those sweet summer days, they rise and roam and flit about. Bees are nature's ultimate flirt. They prance from one flower to the next, but it's all in the name of something more than romance. Their pollinating presence helps to ensure the vitality of our food systems. The work of bees isn't just happening in fields of wildflowers or quiet suburban gardens. Bees in urban neighborhoods also have an important role to play. They can help to transform vacant land and restore ecosystems. But they need a little human help to do that. That's where Detroit Hives has stepped in. It turns vacant lots into thriving pollinator habitats and community green spaces. That work now includes planting pollinator-friendly trees in neighborhoods that need canopy, beauty, and biodiversity. To discuss this work, co-founders of Detroit Hives, Paule Jackson and Nicole Lindsey, join us now. Tim and Nicole, welcome to the Metro.
Hey, thank you for having us today.
Tim, I want to start with you. Could you share the origin story of Detroit Hives and how a simple remedy led to a citywide movement?
Absolutely, we'd love to. So the idea of Detroit Hives was formed from a story that we came across around 2016. The city was looking for residents, nonprofits, or organizations to buy back many of the vacant lots. See, at this time, our city had well over 90,000 vacant lots in our community, and we figured we can buy a vacant lot and do some kind of project with the community to help revitalize our neighborhood. We had all these ideas from transforming a vacant lot to a photography studio to a peacock farm and et cetera, and et cetera.
A peacock farm.
Absolutely. A peacock farm would be a unique idea that we would still love to bring back. But, you know, all these were great ideas we have on our vision board, but we didn't act on them. As time progressed into the winter of 2016, it had this really bad cough and cold that I could not get rid of. And to make a very long story short, I came across the power of local raw honey. From there, it sparked my idea to learn more about local raw honey, and it led me into learning more about honeybees, insects, and what have you. And it was actually Nicole's idea. She said, hey, you know, with this honey, how about we transform a vacant lot to a bee farm? And I said, with that idea, let's go for it. So that began the birth of the pollination of Detroit Hives.
I just want to say real quick that that has been a remedy for me as well, local honey, when it comes to terrible allergies. So I think that's interesting that that's what connected the dots for you, Tim. Nicole, I want to turn to you. Could you talk a little bit more about how your initial idea evolved into transforming vacant lots into pollinator habitats?
Yeah, well, it was a need that we didn't see in our own community. We didn't see where we could purchase local raw honey. There was nobody in the community that we knew of that were keeping bees, and we wanted to take the opportunity to beautify our neighborhoods. And I thought this was a perfect idea where we can transform those blighted vacant lots into an oasis for our community, but also our pollinators, and educate the community about the importance of our pollinators, of honey, and creating these pollinator habitats as well.
Yeah, I've noticed that when it comes to your messaging, that it's how crucial of a role that bees play, that you don't have to be afraid of the bees, that's really central to your work as well as the education component. But I do also want to talk about, Tim, the idea of planting pollinator-friendly trees in addition to establishing bee farms. Can you talk about the importance of doing that?
Absolutely. So it's really important to plant things that are native, that benefit both people and pollinators in our community. For one, some of the issues that we face in our environment or our surroundings is around flooding, and it's really important to plant these type of native trees, but also perennials that absorb a lot of the stormwater runoff, but also create rich habitat for our native bees, but also other visiting pollinators.
And then in creating those rich habitats, can you kind of build off of that more and explain what then the cascading impacts are?
Oh, wow. So some of the cascading impacts of creating a rich habitat include, of course, beautification, feeling prideful about your neighborhood. When you see trash, you tend to feel like trash. So when you beautify our neighborhoods, you get a sense of pride. You also create opportunities for civic engagement. These are great opportunities to get communities, corporations, and business involved in your project. And then lastly, the environmental impact, being able to see more pollinators. When you have more pollinators in your environment, you're guaranteed to see an increase in your food security as well.
Nicole, I want to turn to you. Can you tell us about the Finney Community Arboretum and Botanical Garden and its significance in your mission?
So yeah, we can go back and forth.
Okay.
The Finney Community Arboretum and Botanical Garden is a place that we created in the Finney community. We are creating an arboretum. So with the arboretum, so many trees can feed so many pollinators. So it's good for the bees, all the insects, and also our birds as well. So with Detroit being a bee city, a bird city as well, so and also a tree city, so we helping boost both of all of those initiatives, but also giving a community a space where they can walk through and enjoy those trees, walk through and enjoy the flowers. And once again, this is giving the community an opportunity to embrace nature. So, being in nature, it's great for your mental health. It gives you a great boost, but it also brings back the community. Where people can come and engage in that area. And,
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I was just saying, what are we talking about here? We're talking about a blighted vacant lot that's been vacant for over many years. This particular land was donated to us, so that brings us to the Finney community. And from there, we've been working with the community on what will work best for this area. Most residents want to see the area cleaned up. Yeah. They want to see beautification there. Together, we created the Finney Community Arboretum and Botanical Garden to address tree canopy. One of the issues in our urban environments is urban heat islands. We want to find ways, how do we address that? Another issue in the community is lack of mobility. Residents want to find safe, clean places to walk and down with their children and their pets. We created that together.
Tim, can you explain for folks who might not know what an urban heat island is?
Absolutely. So an urban heat island is an area where you have the sun directly just beaming on your head. There's no type of way to absorb a lot of that sun exposure. So in most cases, areas with lots of parking lots and areas where it's just not enough green infrastructure, or you may not have enough trees to provide like an umbrella for over your head.
And so bring this all back for us, if you would. How do bees come into play here? How can they help out with everything that you've just described?
Absolutely. So it's more than just bees. It's all living things. We believe in a healthy future for all living things that God has created. So, of course, Detroit has been dubbed the Motor City for over 100 years. What we're doing together is we're working to support Detroit's existing designations on becoming a tree city, a bird city, as well as a bee city. And this arboretum is providing spaces not only for bees, but also birds and also trees as well.
What does it take to get those three designations as a bee city, a bird city, and a tree city?
That's a really good question. One thing I can't speak on is definitely establishing a bee city resolution. One thing is you have to work with community residents and municipalities. You have to form a bee city committee. From there, you have to be compliant with those initiatives. Some of the initiatives include, of course, bee city signage. So having prominent signage in municipality areas or in garden areas that support pollinators. In addition to that is restoring or enhancing critical pollinator habitats. So being able to introduce more native wildflowers or enhance those areas. In addition to that is, of course, supporting the education and conservation of our native bees. Michigan is home to over 465 different native bee species. Alongside from our native bees, it's also important to share education on visiting pollinators as well, like monarch butterflies and moths, things of that nature.
You're listening to The Metro on WDET, Detroit Public Radio. I'm Robin Vincent. We're speaking with Paule Jackson and Nicole Lindsey of Detroit Hives. They work to clean up ecosystems with bees. Nicole, I want to turn back to you and build off of something that Tim was talking about, and that is engaging the community, especially young people, in tree planting and beekeeping initiatives, and just overall raising folks' awareness about the crucial role that bees and pollinators play.
Yeah, absolutely. I think Detroit is a unique city where we have so many green spaces, and I think we need to preserve those green spaces, but also educating the community why these green spaces are so important to our city. So anytime we are building up a site or a vacant lot, we have these civic engagements where we connect with schools or universities and even the neighbors to get them involved, because we can't do it by ourselves. Just like a honeybee hive, every bee in that hive has a specific job that works together for the greater good of that colony or that hive. So at each neighborhood that we belong to, that is our hive. So we're involving them together and showing them the importance of why we're planting this tree, why these native flowers are so important, how they benefit you, how they benefit the insects, how it just brings the community together, how trees clean the air, how it's attracting insects or other birds, where they showing them how they play their part. So like roly-polies are good for cleaning out the toxins in the soil. So if you build it, these insects, pollinators, and people will come. And we want to create a space where it's for both people and pollinators to thrive. I think being in the urban city, we always think of insects as pests because we see them inside of our house and things like that. But we want to take this time to change the mindset, open up their conscious mind about what's so important about being in nature.
You're building and strengthening the hive mind.
Absolutely.
Before I let you two go, I wonder if you could each take us out into the field, so to speak, and just tell me what it's like for you, how it affects your central nervous system, how it affects the way that you're feeling on any given day when you're spending time outside, around the trees, around the bees, in these green areas that you are working to cultivate. And Tim, I'll start with you.
Well, I think anytime you're outside, whether you're playing in nature, you're gardening, or just being exposed to surrounding of nature, it definitely improves your mental health. So that's one thing that I absolutely love about the space that we're in, is that it really works to create a better positive mindset of our landscape.
Nicole, what about for you?
Yeah, I think just taking the time to be present and listen to nature, enjoy the flowers, see what the bees are attracted to, maybe butterflies, see what's visiting around you. Just take the time. Remind yourself of what the color of the sky is sometimes. Just taking time and peace for yourself to meditate on the now. Being in nature allows you to do that. It allows you to focus on what's going on around you. It becomes peaceful. And now that stress and anxiety, you begin to see it fades away. And now you want to be more engaged and more involved and want to be in that space more, and you find yourself more outdoors.
I think you could lead some meditations, Nicole. Paule Jackson and Nicole Lindsey run Detroit Hives. Find out more about their work at DetroitHives.org. Thank you both so much for joining us on the Metro.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
From the WDET newsroom, a statewide organization wants to increase educational attainment in the state. The Michigan Global Talent Initiative wants 60% of the state's workforce to have a post-secondary education or professional certificate by 2030. A partnering organization, Global Detroit, says Michigan has added 55,000 college-educated immigrants to the job market since 2019. University of Michigan President Santa Ono sent an email last night saying he's leaving Ann Arbor this summer to become the president of the University of Florida. U of M hired him 3 years ago. Today marks the start of the first full week of U.S. tariffs on imported auto parts. WDET's Quinn Kleinfelter reports that some analysts fear the levies could raise prices for consumers by thousands of dollars. Up next, there are many people who want to have a bigger political impact on the world. To help them out, a new book explores the question, what does it mean to be revolutionary right now? We'll hear more about that coming up. This is The Metro. Stay with us.